Hi folks, this is Glenn B. from ballseyesboomers.blogspot.com. What you see in front of you is a high standard Duramatic M-101. It's a pistol and .22 long rifle. High Standard doesn't make it anymore. I don't even think High Standard is in business anymore, but they certainly don't make these anymore. I believe that these were made in the 1940s or thereabouts. You can see the model designation here, M-101, and on the other side it says Duramatic. High Standard has High Standard's location on the other side. It's a pretty neat pistol. Has a very angled grip, but it fits in the hand very nicely and points very well. You can see that my finger lines up almost exactly with the barrel when I grip it this way. It's just feels very good in the hand. I'm going to show you how to field strip this for cleaning and then reassemble it, but before I do that I'll show you one other pistol really quick. For a size comparison, that's a Ruger Mark II with a 5.5 inch bull barrel, and this is the High Standard next to it, and the High Standard's a bit smaller, but not all that much than a Ruger Mark I or Mark II pistol. To take this pistol apart, the first thing that you want to do is you're going to want to remove the magazine. It is a magazine-fed pistol. To remove the magazine, you have to hit the magazine release. The magazine release is not at the bottom of the magazine well, nor is it at the bottom rear of the trigger guard where it's often found on other semi-automatic pistols. It is here on the frame of the pistol right above the trigger. Kind of an inconvenient place. You really have to turn it around to hit it with your thumb, but as soon as you hit it, the magazine slides right out of there. On the next step, you see the magazine is empty. We don't know that the pistol is empty yet. We want to make sure that the pistol is empty, so we're going to operate the slide. We're going to look in here. We're going to see there is no magazine. I can see that. I can also see that there's nothing in the chamber. It opens up nice and wide. You can see that. Nothing in the chamber. I know that the pistol now is unloaded. I'll still keep it pointed in a safe direction for all the rest of the steps. The next thing to do in disassembly of this pistol is to pull a slide all the way back, and let me note something here. This is the safety here. It's a manual safety button. Over here right now it's in the fire position. It's protruding from the right side of the pistol. I don't know if you can see the red ring around it. There is a little bit of a red ring around it. There's also a red indicator back here. This is actually the rear of the striker. You can tell that it's an indicator that connects to the rear of the striker, the firing pin. When it's in this position, it means that the weapon is cocked. You can see that red. You know that the weapon is ready to fire. So the next thing you want to do with the safety in the off or fire position, you want to pull the slide back. You then want to depress the safety from the right side of the pistol, pushing it out so it comes out the left side. I'll show you that again. Because first I want to show you there's a small notch here in the slide, a larger notch back here. If you place the safety in the on or safe position, the slide cannot be operated when it's like that. Put it in the fire position, pull it all the way to the rear, put the safety back in the on or safe position, and it catches the slide little notch there, catches on the safety, and it will not move forward. There is no conventional slide stop on this that automatically keeps the slide back when the magazine is empty. Just take, I could show it to you with the magazine in, but take my word for it, there is none. The next step in taking this down is to take this knurled ring here and start to unscrew it, turning it in a clockwise rotation, keeping hold of the barrel, because that unscrewing of that screw is going to loosen the barrel and allow the barrel to come completely free of the frame. There it goes. It's kind of a nice touch as far as I think, because now you can clean the bore from the breech end or from the chamber end instead of cleaning it from the muzzle end. That's protecting the crown. You can see on this one here maybe a little light spot there where somebody allowed the bluing to wear off somehow on that. The crown is still in good shape, but for some reason the bluing is worn off. And now you pick up the pistol, the frame, and the slide assembly. And the next step that you're going to want to do is you're going to want to remove the slide. I place my hand across the frame like this, gripping it. I push the slide back a little bit more. It'll go back just a little bit more, and I take the safety in my thumb. I push the safety into the off or the fire position, so it's protruding on the right side of the pistol again, all the time holding that slide in place. And now I start to let the slide move forward very slowly. I'm going to line it up with the back of the pistol like this, and I'm going to activate the trigger. You can see the slide move forward some when I did that, even though I was holding it pretty firmly. It moved forward a good 1/4 of an inch. The reason it did that is because the striker was allowed to fly forward under spring pressure. Other parts under spring pressure release that pressure, that tension. And now I can remove the slide. The reason that you activate the trigger like that is because if you took the gun apart and the slide off without activating the trigger, all those parts that become tense when the pistol is cocked are still tensed. And if you then squeeze the trigger by accident, when the frame is in this condition without the slide on it, some of those parts can come flying out of the frame, and it would be pretty difficult to get them back in there unless you're a gunsmith. The next thing you want to do is you want to pick up the slide. You can see there's a spring sticking out the back of the slide here. If you look underneath, you can see there's a channel cut open here for it. And I'll pull that spring out. That's the recoil spring. I don't know if you can see it. There's still another spring in here. It was sitting before inside the center of the recoil spring. It fits right into it, like one straw fitting into a wider straw. And I'll pull that one out, and along with that comes the firing pin or the striker, and I can pull them apart, give it a little twist and just pull them apart for cleaning. And I'll show you now that the pistol has been disassembled into its component parts for a field strip and a good cleaning. We have the magazine out, we have the frame, obviously with no magazine, we have the barrel, we have the slide, we have the recoil spring, we have the firing pin spring, we have the firing pin. Give it a good cleaning. Give all of it a good cleaning. After the cleaning is done, to reassemble, it basically goes in reverse order. You're going to, there's that red indicator dot that I was talking before. It actually is on the back of the striker or the firing pin. Going to place that into the spring, the firing pin spring. We're going to take the firing pin spring. You'll notice that the actual firing pin is off center of the rest of the striker, and that's because this is a rimfire pistol. It's not in the center. We want to put this back into the frame. We want to make sure that the firing pin is lined up with the firing pin hole here, and to do that, I'm going to turn the frame upside down. I'm going then to make sure that the firing pin is at the bottom-most portion, and I'm going to push it in like this, and when it lines up just right, it will. Oh, there it goes. The firing pin is protruding from the firing pin hole here in the slide. I know it's lined up right. I then take the recoil spring. I place the recoil spring over the firing pin spring, and I just very easily, note there's almost no tension, there's a little bit but almost none, it just goes on very easy. Don't force it and bend the springs. Slide that into position. I'm now going to place the slide back onto the frame of the pistol. I take it, there are some channels cut into the slide as they are in many other pistols on each side of the slide, and there are rails on the frame on each side, and I'm going to want to line up the channels in the slide with the rails on the frame, and to do so I place the slide down over the frame before I get to the rails. It can go down too low so that they won't line up, so I have to watch and just make sure that they're lining up right. And when they're lined up right, it just slides right on like that. See, both springs don't go into this housing back here. This housing is for the firing pin. When it's in the cock position, it moves back into this, and then you can see that red dot in this channel right here. Now to get this back on, you're going to have to, a little force used, push the slide all the way back. You want to lock it in place. You want to make sure that the safety, before you did that, you wanted to make sure that the safety was still in the fire position, the off or fire position, so it's flat or flush. On the left side, it's protruding from the right side. Move this back all the way, and then you put the safety into the on or safe position. It's now protruding out of the left side, and it fits into a little notch that's in the slide that will hold it in place like this. Now I can take the barrel and put the barrel back on. To do so on this M-101 model, I don't know about the earlier models, you want to hold that knurled knob so the screw is dead center in the hole here in the frame. You want to take the barrel, hold it over that, just mate it up with the end of the screw, and start to turn the ring, and make sure you're getting it in there so that it's not stripping any threads, which I think would be pretty easy with this if you weren't careful. It's not lining up just right. It takes a little bit of doing sometimes to get it lined up just right. But once it is lined up, it screws right in there. You could hear the knurled edges of this knob grating against the side of the frame a little bit while I was doing that, and it happens every time, even though the screw is going in right. If it's not going in right, that screw can't so much to one side, it usually gets stuck, and you know it right away. Okay, now the barrel is back on, the slide's back on, the barrel's back on, the pistol is just about ready to go. In order to move the slide forward, you want to hold it in place, push it back just a tiny bit, as far back as it'll go, and you want to press the safety and put it into the off or fire position and allow the slide to go forward. I don't know if you can see that little notch that it catches on is right here. And there's another notch though in the back of the slide back here. If I place the safety in the on or safe position now, the slide is locked in place and I cannot operate it. Just another safety feature. Also, the trigger is locked in place if I take it off. Remember that the red indicator here means that the pistol is ready to fire. If I activate the trigger now, you'll see a big hole, a gaping hole here, because the firing pin has moved forward with the red indicator along with it. And you know that the gun is not ready to fire. You can see the trigger is just pretty limp. Now again, I can lock that in place, have it locked in place like that. Take that off. Again, there is no automatic slide stop on this pistol, which would usually be a lever here in this position that pops up when the last round comes out of the magazine, and the magazine follower here pushes up high enough to hit that and pushes it up into the notch. Just don't have one in this pistol, so you have to remember, if you do want to lock the slide back before cleaning, all the way back like that, and put the safety into the on position. It's a pretty neat little gun. I haven't shot it yet. I plan to shoot it this week. I'll let you know how it did on my blog. Once again, my blog is ballseyesboomers.blogspot.com. That's all one word, ballseyesboomers.blogspot.com. And I hope to see you in the near future with another video. All the best for now. Signing off, Glenn B.